The Flooring Tutor, the day job and a demo for apprentices on basic setting out for LVT using a trammel bar.
Right, so we've got in this room one solid wall. We could potentially use that, yeah. The length of the room is obviously running this way, yeah. So we need our datum line needs to run in that length. It helps that we've got this parallel wall as well. We can potentially use that. The problem is this corner here, yeah. So it makes us with two different measurements. Okay. So to achieve that datum line through middle, I'm going to measure the width of room at one end and half it. And I'm going to do that at the other end, yeah, width of room and half it. However, because that's bigger than this, if I did that, you'd end up with a skewed line because that middle is going to be different to that one. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to potentially use that, and we're going to imagine that that's running all the way across. Yeah, that's there. Potentially, and I say potentially because that might not be straight. And I know it's not straight because I've done this loads and loads of times. So potentially, on a real job, we would use that as a parallel line, and that's what we base off. So we're not going to draw across that line, we just know that that's not going to be right. However, the doorways, we're going to have to use at some point. So what I'd suggest is, have you got the large straight edge? No, I've got the underground one. There's one here. And never ever set out into a doorway. You're setting out, when you're setting out in an LVT, you want to set out to get your decent grip on walls. Yeah. You've got to account for going into doorways, but you don't want to set out into the doorway. You don't want to balance in the doorway. So if you just if you draw a line from skirt to skirt, what that's doing is, what's that doing? That's basically drawing a pretend skirting across the doorway. So we're imagining at this point that skirting is running all the way across and we don't actually have a door. Same at that side. So we need to mark it, we can't just imagine it because we're going to have to measure from that in a bit. Okay, so put that there. I'm going to ask you to do measuring, I'll do marking. Yep. So to start off, I want you to measure from that wall to this wall. What, 120?
121.
121. Just write that on the floor so we don't forget it. Now what you did the right thing. We've got that one solid wall. You should measure from this side because obviously that might be different, and we might have to do something different if this doesn't measure up same. So measure from there. So we're doing opposite ends of that parallel wall. 120.
Nah, probably.
See, we've got two separate measurements, haven't we?
Yeah.
So if we put that, if we marked half on both, we'd again have a one line. We can't have that. We need to use this wall, which we think looks nice and straight. It's only a small room, so we could get away with it. We're going to have to use the measurement from that twice.
Okay.
So half 121. Yeah?
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, that's alright. Okay, so measure that and mark it, put a circle around it so everybody that's working on jobs knows where the centre line is. Do one there. The ultimate professional. Put a circle around it so you can find it in a bit. Okay? You're going to do the same measurement, you might as well do it down here now. Cross from there, yeah, 60, cover at 60.5.
Okay.
You're following this?
Yeah.
Do you get why I'm doing this measurement and not that one?
Yes.
So now we've got a parallel line with this, and we'll mark it and check it because one thing you need to do, all jobs are going to be different and all walls look different. What you need to do is draw that line in.
Here.
Yeah, all the way into your doorway on both sides. you then need to put this into reality. You're on somebody's house, you need to make sure that this actually looks, you know, the theory is good, but we need to make sure in context it's right. So sometimes I'll play it down because I can see it, but step back and have a look at that line. Does it look straight? Is it looking nice and straight, as in parallel with that, as we want?
It does to me.
It does.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
So we're good to go with that. It's a small room, so we can change it. The beauty is we're marking on floor, we're not sticking. All right. Okay. So now that we've got our main datum line, the most important line in job, do you know why we're putting it in the middle?
So that you can work outwards.
Yeah.
It's all symmetrical, basically.
That's it. We're using symmetry, so we're making sure that whatever happens on this side of the room is going to happen over there. And now we need to do the same with the central part and make sure we've got symmetry across the length of the room. So Lucy's just had the problem where she tried to measure and do the same method, and she got a wonky cross. So what we're going to do is we're going to use trammel bar to find that line. Yeah. So first thing we need to do is find the centre of that line. So from us fake skirting boards to each other
Fake to
and half
fake.
it, fake to fake. Make sure you measure it on the line as well. Yeah.
Can't go there today or tomorrow night because somebody's doing a test.
Say 144.
144.5. Write it on board then so we know. And then half it. Half of 14.7.
72.25.
That'll do. Mint. So measure from the one that you started measuring. Alright, and then just make sure that we're not both big. Just measure from that line to that line and make sure we've got the same measurement. That's a double check. Always measure twice. We're not thick, are we? No, we're good?
Yeah.
You can be a millimetre off, especially in a big room. A millimetre's not going to make any difference to anybody. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use trammel bar. What I'd suggest is sharpen that pencil because you're starting to... We're going to use the trammel to base a line off of that line. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we need to measure an equal distance away from that point. And we're going to do that by using the small measurement. Okay. So pop that into the middle. And I want you to just draw a small circle using the small measurement. Yeah.
All the way around.
All the way around, yeah, Matt. Why not? Helps you remember. Yeah. So the reason for that now is we're just concentrating on these 2 points. Yeah. So now that we've got them, we can now transfer to that point. And in my glasses, I can't see it. Alright. And now what we're going to do is draw 2 bigger circles.
So that.
And the idea is where they cross over, you're going to find that line, so draw a full circle. That's not a circle. Put weight on the screw. Okay, now transfer it to that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where am I? Just. Oh, yeah.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Nope.
So just to summarise what we've just done, we've drawn a line, we found the middle of that line, we've then drawn a circle from that point, and where it's crossed the line, we've then drawn two bigger circles there. Where them two bigger circles meet is where we're going to have a perfect line through the centre. Right there, yeah. So if the point where it crosses and point where it crosses, draw it right into the edge because we might need it for later. Okay. If we wanted, just to make sure, to double check,